In this video, I will show you how to model motion using mathematics and desmos. So here's my background scene. I've already kind of typed in my storyline. Kyle is snorkeling in the Bahamas. I wonder what types of fish he will see. Now I want to add my fish. So I'm going to add an item, choose an image, right? Here's my fish. Once that is added, right, I can click on it. I can move him behind or in front of the scene. So obviously I want him in front of the scene. I want to make him a little bit smaller, so I'm going to shrink him down. And then if you grab the center blue dot there, you can move the fish around wherever you want. Now to make the fish move, I'm going to add a function. I'm going to call my function f of x equals maybe sine of x. And then you can play around with your parameters, right? That's part of the project. So let's say I want him to move maybe a little bit flatter and then not so high up. Maybe I want the fish to move along this pattern. So now I want to attach my fish to this graph. So right here it says the center of my fish is at -12, -4.2. I'm going to change that so my fish is located on this graph. So for my x coordinate, I'm going to choose a variable. Let's call it c. And that right away will create a slider. And that slider will allow the fish to stick to the function. And he's going to move along c as c changes based on my f of x function. So I want to change my y value to f of c. Now my fish, right, if I move my slider here, will move according to that graph, and we can now change certain ending and beginning parts to the fish. So I want the fish to start here at maybe -28, so I'm going to choose -28, and I want him to end, close to the 30, so I can even have the fish end at 30. Now let's see how he's moving. Right, he's going pretty quick. So up here, I can slow him down, right? And I can also make him move just in one direction. So now notice my fish is swimming along, going from left to right. And when he gets to the end, he will just start over instead of going backwards. And then the one last step, right, is to hide your graph. And then it looks like the fish is swimming all by himself. If I wanted to add more movement, let's say I wanted to add some bubbles. So here I found an image of bubbles. I did go in and delete the white part, and I can show you how to do that in class, but let's select the bubbles. Right, so now my bubbles are in my picture. Right, you can see them right here. I can make them a little bit bigger if I'd like. And I'm just going to move them out of the way for right now. And let's say we want maybe the bubbles just to kind of float up, maybe in a linear fashion. So I'm going to add a line in there. How about, now my other function was f of x, so I'm going to use g of x this time. And let's make something like 3x. Right, and maybe I don't want it to cover his face. So again, thinking about the way parameters change the movement, I'm going to move him to the right a little bit, and now my bubbles can go up this green line right here. So then how do you attach your bubbles? Well, remember, here are our bubbles. I want to now add a slider for my x value. I don't want to use c because I already used it. So I'm going to use another variable, d, right? Choose down here to add your slider. And we want to make a move along that line. So my y value will now be g, because that's my line function of d. And that will attach the bubbles to the line. So we can look here again. There are bubbles going up, back and forth. And we can change certain things, like the 10 to -10 is not bad. I might want to slow it down a little bit, and then I might want to make it just move in one direction. So now we can have both the bubbles moving up and down and the fish moving at the same time. But again, remember to turn off your line, make that invisible. And then I can come here and turn my fish on as well. So my fish is swimming, and I occasionally see bubbles floating up as well. So that's how you can make motion with math using Desmos.